Hi, I'm Craig Summers, naturopathic doctor and nutritionist, here to talk to you about inflammation. Many of us are told that we have inflammation and are given a prescription drug by a doctor, and the prescription drug would be like an anti-inflammatory drug. And there are also over-the-counter non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. Well, did you know that as many as 10,000 people die every year when properly taking non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs? And as many as 100,000 people get hospitalized in the emergency room every year while they're taking non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, using them properly. There's a much better way to go about reducing inflammation in the body. And one of my favorite herbs is turmeric, that yellow powder. It's a component of curry. So turmeric in small amounts is a very good anti-inflammatory. It will reduce inflammation in the body. And you can either take the powder that you would buy in a health food store, not in a mainstream supermarket, because spices in mainstream supermarkets have been irradiated. And we don't want to use spices that have been exposed to radiation. So you go to a health food store, you get your non-irradiated turmeric powder, or even better, if you can get the turmeric root, the fresh root. It looks very similar to ginger, except it's orange. And what I do is use about a 1/4 inch slice of that fresh turmeric root and a little bit of powder, just a drop, about 1/8 of a teaspoon in my smoothie every day. And that keeps us low inflammation, because all of us are prone to some type of inflammation in our body at some time in our life. But even more wonderful news about turmeric. There's a very aggressive type of skin cancer called melanoma. And researchers noticed that people who ate a lot of curry, and curry has turmeric in it, they found that they didn't get the same rates of this melanoma as the rest of the people. And a lot of these people eating curry are living in areas where they're exposed to a lot of sunlight. So they started to do the research, and they found that in humans, when turmeric comes in contact with this melanoma skin cancer, it causes something called apoptosis. The cancer cell actually implodes. And this is wonderful news for us. But tests were also done on laboratory mice that had breast cancer. And when the turmeric came in contact with the breast cancer cells, their breast cancer cells were more likely to implode in apoptosis. So I'm a big fan of taking turmeric, but you only want to take it in small amounts. Large amounts on a long-term basis is not really the best idea. There can be some drawbacks to that. So if you have a lot of inflammation and small amounts of turmeric are not cutting it over a long time, what I recommend then is systemic enzyme therapy. And I really like a product called Vitalzyme. I've been using it myself for about 2 years. So the difference between digestive enzyme and systemic enzyme is digestive enzymes you take with food to help you digest your meal. Systemic enzymes you take on an empty stomach, and the capsule has an enteric coating. That coating doesn't allow it to open up until it goes through the stomach and gets into the small intestine. When it opens in the small intestine, provided there's no food in there, it gets absorbed into the body and goes into the circulation. And the systemic enzymes, which are called proteolytic or protein digesting enzymes, will eat up little bits of blockages in the circulation and really open up the circulation. But even more amazingly is they eat up scar tissue, and they eat up what doctors call inflammation. I was lucky enough to be able to watch some autopsies done over in Germany. And when they cut open the bodies of these people and they pulled out different organs, there was these little strings that almost looked like a rubber band going from, say, the lungs, and the lungs are supposed to be hanging in this hollow area, and there's this little string touching the sidewall, and several of them on some people, and they call that inflammation. Well, these proteolytic systemic enzymes can actually go in and break up those little strings and take them away and bring your organs back to a more youthful state. So anti-inflammatory foods like turmeric or systemic enzyme therapy is a major part of any anti-aging regime that you might be using. And I'm a big fan of systemic enzymes and turmeric.